Hello and welcome to the PC Perspective Podcast Special Edition because we're dropping like flies. Jeremy's not here. Brett is running late, but we are going to podcast anyway because we absolutely refuse to cancel another show right now. But, look forward to that possibly. The holidays are coming. We like to miss a week or two here and there. I'm Sebastian Peak.
I'm Josh Walrath.
And I'm Ned Niederlander. Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry. I'm Kent Burgess.
Yes, it's episode 839. It's being recorded on October 8, 2025. I expect Bront to walk in that door at any moment, and we will switch to a different look. We'll go to this look when that time comes. But for now, we have just the three of us, the three amigos, and the three stooges, as one might say.
Yep.
Little known fact, but Brent Van Spruenberg, because his real name is Bront Ben.
I don't even remember his real name because we never use it.
And he lives at 1 von Schaffenhausen Lane in Luxembourg.
At this point in the podcast, we would like to invite you to visit a website called patreon.com. This is a unique site in the world because it allows you to give money to your favorite content creator. That may sound like OnlyFans, but it's not. It's different because it's less gratifying and you don't get exactly what you want. You get whatever we give you. And right now, we're giving
apparently you get what you need.
Yeah. If you need Brett Van Spruenberg, he's not here right now. But with your help, together we can find Bront Vanderberg. So give generously to PCPer on patreon.com, and maybe, just maybe, we'll actually...
if you wish hard enough, he'll appear.
He's joked in the past about the Turkish prison. I'm starting to wonder. Josh?
Okay. Me?
Josh, did you eat something that you would like to talk about?
I ate something. You know what? I don't think I've ever done this before, but I had to peel it apart. It was so crushed. It took me like 3 minutes to peel it apart. It's the Plainsman, right? It's one of the better burgers at Born in a Barn. And as you can see, it's got 3 strips of pretty nicely done bacon, smoked hatch green chilies. It's got a chipotle ketchup and fry sauce in there, American cheese. Because I'll tell you what, American cheese melts better than any other cheese on the planet, even though it's not really cheese. The 7-ounce patties have really made these burgers alive. They had smaller ones that they just didn't cook as well. I didn't think they tasted as good. And so they, instead of having 2, 3 or 4 ounces, they got 1 7-ounce and a couple of new machines that, have you seen those burger things where they put the burger down and then they pop the top down and it cooks them on both sides at the same time? It does like a perfect cook every time, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic. So it's got some spice to it. It's nice. I thought that they used to have chopped jalapenos on there, but I don't know. Maybe they've changed the recipe, but still, the green chilies had a nice little bite to it. It was a succulent burger. Not a succulent Chinese meal, but succulent burger. This is democracy. No, we're not going there. Anyway, so yeah, that was the Plainsman. Fries were reasonable. They were not seasoned enough. Should have had a little bit more seasoning. Got to work on that. Well, maybe I'll. Anyway, so yeah, that was my burger. Fantastic. Riveting content.
Let's move immediately to news. And if we go to AMD's page or OpenAI's PR page, we see the same thing. An announcement about a strategic partnership. 6 gigawatts of AMD GPUs, billions and billions of dollars. And AMD only had to give up about 10% of the company to score this deal. So, I mean, wouldn't you give 160 million shares away to guarantee billions and billions of dollars in revenue?
Well, this is kind of a wacky thing. It has driven the share price of AMD up pretty dramatically something like 30% over the past couple of days. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's a lot. And the MI450 is still in development. And OpenAI doesn't actually have any money. I think, some of the verbiage of this agreement was, OpenAI does not currently have the funds to do this. However, we are going to be raising it versus Class B, blah, 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 blah stuff. The financial stuff I don't like to talk about. So yeah, it's a little bizarre because NVIDIA also invested heavily in OpenAI, and of course, OpenAI is their primary customer. Yeah, look at that, 40%, almost 40%.
And that's just in the last 5 days.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, that's just nuts.
Josh, do you remember when AMD, just a decade or so ago,
$2.30 a share?
Yeah, it was so cheap.
Yeah,
and like
why didn't you buy that back in 2015?
And no one thought it was a good buy at that. I mean, it was like, rolling the dice at a casino.
If I had $10,000 at the time that I could just spend on it, I would have, but I didn't have that. I didn't either. That's the problem. Yeah, and so because you had to think that two x86 competitors in the world, right, that has the majority of compute, is one of them really going to go down the drain? Probably not. Worst comes to worst, someone else bigger is going to buy them out, and it won't be Intel. It will not be a monopoly. The U.S. government will not allow such a thing to happen. And so AMD in some form was going to survive. So even though if they had sold out to somebody, maybe it would have been a 30, 40% price jump in their share price, and you'd have made a little bit of money. But yeah, them getting Lisa Su in there. Rory Reid stabilized the ship after Hector, who was an absolute disaster, and then Dirk, who was a good engineer but not a great businessman. He was hamstrung way too much by decisions that Hector had made. But yeah, NVIDIA invested in OpenAI. OpenAI is buying a lot of NVIDIA products. OpenAI doesn't make much money. It's a strange, almost incestuous thing that these companies are doing, hoping that paydays will come in from AI stuff. And good for AMD, I guess. I mean, the share prices went up. They have potentially a customer coming up. AI is a big thing, obviously. I mean, it's driving a lot of data center growth. But we got, I hate to be, Mr. Irrationally Exuberant, but here are some of the big problems with a lot of this data center growth. The U.S. can't handle this kind of electrical needs of what they're planning on building. And so first you got to, get the permits, buy the sites, get construction going, and then build out 1.5 gigawatts of power architecture to power this data center. 1.5 gigawatts can do something like 100,000 houses. If I'm my math is correct, I mean, it's not insignificant, and they're trying to build a bunch of these around the country. And suddenly, they're probably demothballing some coal plants and natural gas stuff because green energy and nuclear cannot keep up, even though they're starting to look at deregulating some nuclear so they can get stuff back online and to build faster, but that's still a 20-year process. So I understand the exuberance and I understand the short-term money to be gained, but I just don't. There are some big hurdles in the way. And I don't necessarily trust OpenAI because they're still not making money. They're operating at a pretty significant deficit. What do you guys think?
Well, you
not to be the eternal pessimist, But
Josh, in this, this is the generation of faking it so you make it. So obviously, OpenAI, and like you said, incestuous. It's hilarious because NVIDIA makes so much money off of OpenAI, and now there's heavy investments between the two companies, and now AMD is on board with major investments from OpenAI, promised to make all of these GPUs for the company, which NVIDIA obviously has already been doing. It's just all these companies are trading money around, trading stock around. Meanwhile, no actual money is being made other than by investors, I guess. AMD investors just made a bunch of money on paper.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what it's all about. They're just manipulating stocks and investing in each other.
Because the products are not going to be delivered until second half of 2026. And I think the MI450 was just, it was taped out a while ago, and maybe they're getting some pre-production silicon that they've, got to go over. It's a big, complex, multi-package chip. And it's I don't know. I think it's real goofy, and Wall Street loves it, obviously. But I don't know. It's AI stuff is so weird. I've heard some rumors that there is going to be some people seriously cutting back orders, and we're seeing some softness. But a lot of that was, kind of covered up because NVIDIA invested, $10 billion into OpenAI, and they made all these other orders from NVIDIA, which again is this strange kind of incestuous type behavior. It's weird. I think we need to pay attention to it. I could be entirely wrong, and this thing's going to continue to go through the roof. But I don't know. It's getting weird and kind of scary, especially if you are, a small investor who has put some significant life savings in the tech industry. Don't look at me for insider type information or your financial well-being. I am not a professional in that area.
Wait, were you telling people to buy AMD when it was $3 a share?
Well, that just seems like a natural thing to do. $2.30 a share. I mean, to buy 100 shares for $2,300. So what would 100 shares be worth now? That's 20,300 and 23,000 some odd. Yeah. That would be nice.
Pretty good
but
return.
I don't. Yeah, it would be. Anyway, but more thoughts on you guys. I keep running you over.
I'm with you about the power. I mean, the power is everything, because without more electricity being generated, they can't run these things. One of my coworkers who is, not very tech savvy had shown me this news story, and this came from a network that was showing this prediction of AI and what was going to happen. And it was, predicting this pretty, substantial, not apocalypse or anything, but some really nasty stuff coming from it. And I was explaining to her that the type of compute that they are showing in this news story would require more electricity than pretty much the human race generates right now. So before anything like that could happen, we've got to have more power being generated, and there's not the infrastructure for it at the moment. Not just for something of that level, but even for, a lot of these things that they're wanting to build very soon. We don't have the power infrastructure for it in the United States, in China, anywhere. And they're going to have to build that infrastructure first, hopefully, before they start stealing all the electricity from honest, hardworking citizens.
Well, as somebody already pointed out in the chat, that the Matrix already solved this problem. So, I mean, each of us generates some electricity of our own, so we could just harness that. There's a few billion of us.
If only I had a Duracell battery I could hold up, and
Yeah.
By the way, Oh, go ahead, Josh.
Another area in do you know the wait time for getting a large transformer delivered to your doorstep? What that looks like? It's like 6 months plus to a year. And I mean, how many transformers do they need for 1.5 gigawatt operation? I mean, these fabs, mega fabs, they're 500 megawatts to 1 gigawatt, depending. EUV itself takes up a tremendous amount of power. And yeah, they have to plan their building around these transformers that, they're like a dozen major transformers in the US at any one time. And if one blows up, they've got to get out of that supply and go, truck it on a huge flatbed. It's a significant deal. And I think, sometimes Wall Street overlooks these things. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know where truly we're going to go because it is getting inky out there.
Each AI plant will just have its own nuclear plant attached to it, so it'll just solve itself. By the way, we can't spend too much time on this because we've already been on, stock prices,
Ages,
mega deals for a while. But NVIDIA, another blockbuster deal, this time with xAI. Elon Musk's AI company. So it's something about $20 billion Colossus 2 Memphis project. NVIDIA is on board. They're just making all the money. I can't imagine what their earnings are going to be like next year. Just
who, NVIDIA or Tesla?
NVIDIA. They're making so much money. They're the only ones really making it, other than maybe AMD in a year or so. But
I mean, AMD's doing perfectly fine. And I'd love to talk about Zen 6 stuff that's coming up and some interesting ideas behind that. But neither here nor there. We can maybe talk about it next week.
We should. Let's keep up the acquisition talk. I saw Ryan Shrout post about this earlier today, so I went to the press release. And Qualcomm is acquiring Arduino.
And it sounds like Qualcomm's kind of doing it the right way. Apparently, Arduino is still going to support other chips other than Qualcomm stuff. So they're trying to keep it still open source, but they're going to, inject some money in there and hopefully supercharge some development. So I think it's a positive thing. I mean, what do you guys think?
I have no thoughts on this matter. I knew Jeremy was.
Everybody loves Arduino. It's the open source. It powers all kinds of robotics. You buy a $75 Arduino thing and you start learning about electrical engineering and how to do, control aspects and things and driving cars and making. It's like sim racers are even using it to do things like changing inputs on the fly through Arduino and this kind of software. It's amazing what anybody with an idea can do, and an inexpensive platform that's open source and has a tremendous amount of software behind it. So it's kind of fun. It's cool.
Next, they'll be writing Raspberry Pi, and then they'll own it all the small single board computers. Moving on, Synology. There was an odious development in the world of Synology NASA's in, I think it was April, when they announced that 2025 models were going to require Synology branded drives for full functionality. And they have reversed course with Disk Station 7.3, 2025 model year Disk Station Plus, Value, and J Series will support the installation and storage pool creation of non-validated third-party drives. They're going to continue their validation process like they have been, but now you can just, use your Western Digital and Seagate and whatever other drives you have, like you used to. There's a full press release about this, but I feel like this had to happen because when they pulled this a few months ago, a lot of people were saying, RIP Synology, we're going to do our own build.
I mean, there are other, people like QNAP out there who are taking advantage of this. It reminds me of the story of who had the toasted sub, Quiznos. Is that they franchised out so quickly, but if you want a franchise, you had to buy all of your foodstuffs from the Quiznos delivery service, or whatever you want to call it, distributor. And all of the prices were 30 to 40% higher for all the stuff. And they required you still to hit these certain price points at your restaurant. And I mean, it was essentially just killing everybody. But, they had these really great returns at Quiznos corporate. And it seems like Synology tried that same thing. If you want the full experience, you need to buy our drives, which are 30 to 40% more expensive than what else is on the market. And the market went, screw you. And I think that their sales took a nosedive because of that. And it's great that they're adjusting to people's pocketbooks talking.
Real quick, from Tech Power Up, this is a press release from Be Quiet. It was about a year ago, maybe a little bit less, when they released their first sort of aquarium style case. This is the new 500 series. So they had the 600 and up. Now they have the light base 500 LX, light base 500. They started about 145 for the 500 and I think 155 for the LX. But very nice looking, and their own entry into this world of aquarium style PC cases that are all the rage. That was really the only requirement my son had for his computer when we built one this year together was it had to be an aquarium style case. I was just like, really? Because I don't have any more of those left because I gave away the one that I had reviewed. So then I actually had to buy one.
The one.
50 freaking cases in the attic, and I had to buy a computer case. I didn't have to. I was just so excited that he finally wanted to build a PC after 10 years. And I was like, yes, whatever case you want. Anyway, this is what happens when you're overly indulgent as a parent.
Yes, do not spoil children.
No, don't follow my example. Do as I say, not as I do. Windows 11 out-of-box experience, it just gets worse and worse. I'm sure there's at least one or two workarounds that might still work, but Microsoft keeps trying to kill them all, and they have killed more account bypasses with their latest build, but this is not a release yet. This is still in preview. So if you're in the insider preview build 26220.6772, it has removed known mechanisms for creating a local account in the Windows setup experience. So, yeah.
So you're saying that I need to keep my Rufus install of 2 months ago and keep that forever?
Well, until this becomes the main, channel release, yes. So right now there's workarounds. There's still stuff you can do, changing executable file names and using the accessibility CMD bypass. And Rufus is still the preferred method for me, but every once in a while I'll get a Windows like pre-installed on a laptop, and I don't want to go through the online account process. It's just because I don't want to. I don't want to have to. There's some people who are all about it, and that's great and good for them. But I don't love Microsoft. I guess they already have whatever they want from me anyway if I'm using Windows, but it's a principle.
If only Linux would catch up in game support.
It looks like Steve at Gamers Nexus is kind of all in on Linux lately. I think he's kind of getting sick of Microsoft's anti-competitiveness. Maybe he will help influence a generation. His followers. Nice. He's some have referred to him as the tech messiah, and he has influence. Maybe 2026 will be the year of the Linux desktop. We just needed somebody with long hair to lead us, and this guy, he's a Windows guy. So, don't follow him. Don't listen to him. Kent is a false prophet. And finally, MSI says their 800 series AM5 motherboards are future CPU ready. I would like to believe that means Zen 6, as videocards.com is postulating. But what if it just means a refresh? What if it's Zen 5 Plus? I just wanted to say that Zen 5 had DDR5. Zen 4, DDR4.
So did Zen 3.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ignoring that part because
anyway,
Zen 6, Huh? DDR6. Not likely, but it is possible.
I mean, do you see any modules out there saying
Not yet, but
DDR6?
I don't see any Zen 6 out there either. So
No, but they're when is that? They were released a year ago. Last month, July, the 9000 series. I think it was July of last year. So you're looking at kind of a 2-year refresh, and that we should get Zen 6 from everything we're seeing, and going back to the Strix Halo stuff and how they're doing the chiplets on that. They actually use the substrate and they call it a sea of wires. And I didn't know this until a couple of weeks ago. But so you had these things called SerDes, serializer, deserializer, and that's the basis of the Freedom Fabric / Infinity Fabric. Basically, you have 16, 18 wires, depending on. I think it's 18 wires because it's 8 plus 1 because it needs to be ECC. And as you well know, or not well know, to get all the data through high-speed wires like that, you can't do it in parallel because that would mean hundreds of wires, which is what they did with sea of wires. But because substrates previously, packaging and substrates have improved dramatically over the past 40 years. I mean, it's not packaging in general is nuts now as compared to what it used to be. So anyway, to get Infinity Fabric work, you had to take all this data down and serialize it and deserialize it on from the I/O, which is the memory controller, and all that, to the chiplet, the CCP. CP? I can't remember. Too many acronyms. But anyway, doing the sea of wires, you cut out the SerDes altogether because all it is just one really long wire that connects two chips. And so there's hundreds of wires under each chiplet that goes to the I/O die. And it improves latency dramatically. And even though it increases the complexity of the substrate, it decreases the complexity of the chip, makes data flow faster, less latency. It's a good thing. And I think that, do you remember the EMIB parts from Intel? It was one of the substrate packaging technologies. It was essentially an interposer chip, but a small interposer chip that goes in between things. And I think that we're going to see next generation Zen 6 utilize something like that. And of course, when you're looking at this, you think, where are they going to put the 3D chiplet for X3D? And here's what my thought is, and I know we're going way off the reservation here. Why wouldn't you want to put the X3D on the I/O? Because if you look at the Strix Halo, fully like 2/3 of the I/O die is all graphics, right? It's like 32 compute unit graphic controller GPU on there, which makes it an amazing chip. But why wouldn't you want to put X3D on the IOD? Because SRAM is not shrinking. You can use a larger process node to do it and not affect performance. I mean, you're getting rid of 32 compute units and graphics and replacing that with X3D. And because of you're not having any of the latency issues that Infinity Fabric has, you've got these direct wires connecting from the chiplets to what would be your chip that has the memory controller. Why wouldn't you put the last level cache on that memory controller as well? And you would actually decrease the complexity over the you wouldn't have to use X3D chips underneath the compute units. Does that make sense to you? Or am I just...
No, that was...
I haven't been drinking that much.
It was way out there. It was interesting. I'm not going to pretend to understand most of it. Let's do a very short version of Insecurity Corner because Brett is not here. Jeremy is not here. And by the way, Brett will not be joining us. Apparently he had some things come up and it's just not going to happen for him tonight, and that's fine. We will breeze through Insecurity Corner.
Welcome to Insecurity Corner, your weekly reason to drink.
And our first story, a disturbing development in the world of gaming mice. Your mouse could be spying on you right now. Yes, the Mikey Mouse attack. Well, I guess maybe it could be pronounced Mickey Mouse, but for copyright reasons, we're going to pronounce it Mikey Mouse. It turns your gaming mouse into an eavesdropper. UC Irvine researchers found that an optical mouse equipped with a 20,000 DPI sensor and decent latency, this is a story at the Register, by the way, could be used as a basic microphone if you use software designed to figure out speech patterns based on the vibrations of the user's voice. Now, this might sound very far-fetched, but the research team, they used a $35 mouse and captured speech with a 61% accuracy. I guess it shouldn't be all that surprising that this is possible. It's right there on your desk.
It's fascinating.
Yes.
The world is spying on us in many, many interesting ways because we have AI to process things and somehow get information out of it. Information may not be true, but we can do it.
Next up in Insecurity Corner, arbitrary code execution in Unity. This is CVE 2025-59489. So a security engineer at a security firm. This is rather complex. Let's look at the TLDR. Vulnerability was identified in the Unity runtime's intent handling process for Unity games and applications, allowing malicious intents to control command line arguments passed to Unity applications. So you can load arbitrary shared libraries and execute malicious code depending on the platform. This is all theoretical, but we could start seeing game engines themselves exploited for nefarious purposes.
Well, we have seen previous game engines exploited, I believe. But
Yes.
yeah, Unity's kind of up there. It's big, and security is important everywhere anymore. I mean, think about how many times we've had issues with anti-cheat software that suddenly spouted security issues because it's down there near the kernel because of the way they have to implement it. So no, yeah, gaming is very popular, and it's a big vector, and it makes sense that somebody would be picking apart one of the largest engines in the world, Unity, second only to Unreal, and yeah, people suck.
Just
quit using my hobbies
assembly.
against me. Yeah,
Assembly. It's the only way.
go Steve from Security Now. He'll tell you that that's
Steve
the right way to
Gibson.
go.
Spin rate 6. All right, from Engadget, Discord users' IDs and data compromised in customer service provider hack. So if you got an email claiming to be Discord telling you that you were affected by a data breach, it might actually be legitimate because they were emailing people affected by the breach. But it could also be fake because there was a breach and maybe now you're getting fake emails. I don't know. So be very careful. But yes, Discord itself supposedly has not been hacked. It was a third-party customer service provider.
Well, the thing about this is it's the legislation in the UK and EU about having you got to prove who you are digitally to make sure you're not underage, or if you are underage, that you're using this correctly. And it's all like pictures of people with their IDs. And they had to move so quickly to implement this due to the law. I think that they just got extremely sloppy. Somebody else did this, and where their database was just an open, exposed database that anybody could gather on the internet. It's just humanity is yet again. But, it's stupid laws as well.
AI will save us, Josh.
It will save us.
They'll predict. They'll know your age just based on your habits after studying you your entire life. Everybody will just have a number assigned to them. They'll
Yeah.
So the blockchain. They'll leverage the blockchain. Finally, a tile exploit could let stalkers follow you with your own tracker. Would you believe, this is a story at Tom's Hardware, by the way, could you believe that Bluetooth, the Bluetooth protocol, is exploitable? I mean, it's so new and advanced.
We're what, on the 5th generation? Only the 5th gen of Bluetooth?
So oddly enough, these tile devices broadcast unencrypted MAC addresses and a unique ID that could be picked up by any other Bluetooth device or radio frequency antenna in a tag's vicinity to track the movements of the tag and its owner. And this is very obviously the case. Anybody who's ever been around somebody's AirTag and you're using an Android phone, they're like, unknown tracker following you. Like, yes, I know. Like right now, I have a AirTag still in my wallet. I had previously been using an iPhone. We were traveling and everybody was using like AirTags in our luggage and stuff. And I switched back to my Android phone after the trip. And now I'm getting this notice like unknown tracker. I'm like, yeah, it's in my pocket. It's my wallet. But anyway.
Yeah.
It seems pretty easy
It's
to
not good.
imagine this could be exploited for not for good. Moving on to gaming.
Oh, thank God.
Quick hits. Yes. Battlefield 6. We've talked about it before. We've talked about its system requirements back when it was an open beta. But the official PC requirements are out. Console performance, mandatory software. This is an article at Tweaktown. This is a little bit old here. This is from October 1st. But anyway, minimum requirements. You have to have a 2060 or a 5600 XT or an ARC A380. I think we talked about this when the open beta first was launched. But for
Look at that,
Ultra,
a Ryzen 5 2600. That's now a 8-year-old CPU and it can still run.
Yeah, minimum specs.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's for a 30 FPS 1080 low experience. If you want to play at 1080 with this is the distressing part, because the recommended settings are assuming only 8 gigabytes of video memory, so they're not exceeding 1440 high or 1080 low for 80 FPS plus. This is pretty sad. So we're talking 1440 high gaming at lower frame rates, or 1080 low again, just like with the minimum specs, but with a faster frame rate. Still only promising 80 FPS plus at 1080 low with a 3060 Ti, 6700 XT, or an ARC B580. And that's with a Core i7 or a Ryzen 7 3700X. So, yeah, the system requirements seem a little high. Because if you just want to play 1440 high, you need a 4080 or an RX 7900 XTX. You need a minimum of 16 gigs of VRAM. You need a 12900K or a Ryzen 7 7800X3D or better. This is pretty steep. This is a lot more than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's.
I think,
Apparently,
if
you have to have
beta,
Windows 11.
Well, yes. Well, because, Windows 11, unlike Windows 10, Windows 11 has DirectX 12. Oh, wait. So Windows 10. Okay. Windows...
Does it have some kind of direct storage crap that
but is it
only
actually
on 11? I can't
enabled for this?
I don't know.
I doubt it.
Yep, the beta ran on pretty much everything. Why is the why are they being so kind of hot on the release? I mean, is there some secret sauce that they're not doing? A lot of times, I heard them say they didn't want to really support ray tracing because it ate too much performance and limited who could play it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we're going to need to see in 2 days because it releases on the 10th, right?
Yes. I don't know. I just think that, I guess I should add that 1440 high was if you were targeting 144 FPS. You needed those really high specs. But I mean, who wouldn't be targeting 144, because so many gaming monitors are 144 at 1440. Why would you be buying a 60 hertz monitor, 2560 by 1440 today, You'd have to go out of your way, I guess, like buy an office monitor, because I think any of the games.
Is there like $80 for a 24-inch?
Yeah.
That's
okay. Well, enjoy that experience. And somewhere between a third to a half of all PCs, by the way, using Steam, are still running Windows 10, oddly enough. So I'm sure that ultimately, if Steam drops Windows 10 support, that will finally force everybody to update. You know? I'm not calling it an upgrade, just update.
Has Steam dropped Win 8 support? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
I think they finally dropped a Win 8 and 8.1. And they're dropping Windows 10 32-bit support in a few days. I saw Action Retro tweeting about that. But you can still use Windows 10 64-bit.
Okay, I've got to ask this.
What?
How many people have actually installed Win 10 32-bit?
Action Retro. Because he was
there are
putting
dozens.
on a Core Duo laptop.
Dozens of us.
Dozens of people out there. Tens of people nationwide. Here we go. He says, oh no, Steam will no longer be supported on Windows 10 32-bit in 85 days. And people in the comments were like, why are you running that? And they're like, it's a Core Duo, ThinkPad from the 90s or early 2000s. If it's Core Duo, it's like 2006.
Yeah. And Core 2 Duo had 64-bit support. It wasn't great, but it supported AMD 64.
I'm not talking about Core 2 Duo, Josh. I'm talking about just Core
Duo. Okay. Then yeah, you're right. All right.
There's some anemic parts out there in the world. And he would, of course, be using one of them. If you've ever seen any of his videos, he likes to use very, very low-end hardware for things. Finally, from Tech Power Up, AMD gains CPU share, not GPU, of course, as Intel hits a record low on the Steam hardware survey. Now, I think this happened after we podcasted last week. It's appalling how far Intel has fallen. I mean, it's not huge. They've gone from 60.5% back in May to about 58.6% now. But AMD is up there. They're at 41.31% processor market share.
It seems like anyone who is a hardcore gamer just buys the 9800 X3D by default. It's just the gaming processor to have. And not only that, but it's good at everything else too, unless you're doing absolute, hardcore video editing where you need all the cores you have, or, picture editing is. Do you see a difference between an 8-core and a 16-core, Sebastian?
No, because the picture editing software is typically not optimized to run its workloads across that many cores. Plus, what are you even doing? You're doing an effect, like say you're doing a Gaussian blur. That's how that word is pronounced. Is that multi-threaded? It depends on the application. I haven't been using the Adobe suite in a while, but the last time I did on a regular basis, a lot of that stuff was very single thread dependent.
Yeah. So it's like video editing, or if you're doing machine learning, that will actually require all those threads and you're not using a GPU.
And the other thing about all the X3D family is they've always been very easy to temperature manage. So, previously before that, if you wanted a top end gaming system, you were looking at water cooling, period. And since the X3D stuff came out with the heat management, the lower voltage that they run on the X3Ds, you could buy a $25 CPU cooler and you're good to go.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like that. Not me, because I'm insane and I water cool everything, but
all the things.
Do you water cool your M.2 SSD?
No, I haven't done that yet. I've been tempted.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Do it. Think of the performance gains. Really, you will actually see performance gains in large sequential transfers. I'm not kidding. Gonna have a
How?
big old heat sink and some fan on that. If you've done extensive SSD testing, you will see the drop once the temps
with the
heatsink.
controller. But the problem is that everybody, cools the entire thing, including the NAND.
Right.
And the
Alan
last
says
thing
it's
you
not
really
okay.
want to do.
Yeah. So
is
what we need to
cool the
do
NAND.
is instead of solutions like this, where they have a big heat sink
Single.
covering all of it, what you want to do is set this up on its side, just on the controller, and then leave the NAND alone because it likes to be warm. We'll
Leave
get
the
Alan on
NAND
soon.
alone.
I'm going to start begging Alan, please come back on the show. I want you to do an entire hour on NAND temperature characteristics. And I want to see detailed charts
Of
with
how much
latency
faster it is when
percentile.
it's hot. Yeah.
Did you say detailed charts?
Yeah, no.
Charts.
No.
Suddenly you're 26 again.
Yeah, suddenly I feel like I'm in an Oldsmobile Arrow again. Driving down Gold Road. Okay. It's time for picks of the week. And
Picks.
Josh, I want you to get us started if you would,
Okay.
please.
I noticed something this week, and I posted it on the Twitters or X or whatever you want to call it. Memory prices have taken a steep jump, and I posted a link in PC Part Picker. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of that, you will see the 32 meg. See, a lot of the older stuff still is fine. But it's once you notice they get a little faster, DDR4, 3600, 48, 52, 56, and you go to 6000. Take a look at that jump in the last 2 weeks. And it's going to get worse.
That's not
NAND?
Josh, this is bad news. I thought this was RAM and storage were supposed to save this hobby.
They're now going all to AI. They need fast storage, so that's NAND. They need a lot of memory, which is DRAM. And both those things, NAND has not hit that yet, but we will soon within a month. So if you would like to upgrade your memory or buy a new system and get a large SSD, now would be the time to do it, because just 6 months ago when the Samsung 9100 series, their PCI 5, you can get a 2 terabyte for $300. Now you can get one for $189. That's probably not going to last. That price is probably the lowest you can get it at right now. All of these DDR5 modules are going up in price. They were often around $100. Now we're looking at $130. So it's a significant jump that we're starting to see. Some things, especially the G-Skill stuff, I noticed the higher end, they're starting to get there. But yeah, if you want to pick up some memory, you really need to do so soon.
All right, Kent, your pick this week.
It's memory.
We were just we were just talking about AM5 and X3D processors, and if you're looking to build a system, and the evidence does show that AM6 maybe, or AM Ryzen, the next generation Zen 6 may be on AM5 motherboards. But if you're looking for a 9800 X3D, you're going to probably need an AM5 motherboard. And here's a good deal on a white. This is an X870E. This thing's normally almost $400. It's $279.99 right now. Very high-end motherboard. Wi-Fi 7, 2.5 gigabit LAN. Good looking motherboard.
That's a great price.
For X870E, that's an excellent price. Get a white case and build yourself a new system.
Scroll down a little bit. Does it tell what the power? 16 plus 2 plus 2. So that's good. Usually 16 plus 2 plus 1 is fairly common. So they've got an extra memory, power phase. So
When it says
More
digital
than enough,
twin
so-
VRM, doesn't mean it's 8 with doublers. Is that what that is? Is that
Maybe.
16?
Could be.
More than enough power for a 9800 X3D and
Oh, yeah,
whatever else
80
you're
amps.
doing.
I like to call those well-behaved processors because they, if you actually observe the power that's being requested and drawn by your CPU, you will find that Ryzen processors that are rated at, say, 125 will actually draw up to like 225, I think, depending on the situation, like the PPT max. And there's like 180 something is more of like the typical load draw. But with the X3D parts, if it's 120, it's 120.
Yep.
So those are not difficult to cool, and they don't have the same kind of power.
And they usually don't draw anywhere near that during gaming anyway.
Oh, no. All right. Well, thank you, Kent. I don't have a pick, but Brett did. And Brett, of course, sadly could not join us tonight. So let's go
Wait,
to
you're
one of
sad?
his... Am I sad? No.
You sad that he didn't join?
I'm fine. We'll see him next week. Okay. 2 things that Brett likes more than anything in the world. 1, Micro Center. 2, Whoop.com, an Amazon company. So, hidden camera detectors. Are you paranoid? Do you hate going to people's houses and wondering if they've got a camera pointed at you? You hate going to the bathroom and you don't know if there's a camera in the stall,
I hate that.
under the seat. I hate that. Do you hate seeing video footage of yourself and your big ass sitting down on the... Oh, okay. You can use this hidden camera detector that will detect portable device bugs. Like if your hotel room has been bugged, this can tell you. It'll beep at you if there's GPS trackers.
You know what's really
finders.
sad, Sebastian?
What?
Someone has already developed a bidet camera.
What? Well, because AI training models need to know if it's effectively cleaning you, right?
Yes.
So-
it's for science.
But I think really that would be the ultimate use of the Apple Face ID sensor, because it does, infrared and it's like depth sensing, because you want to detect the roughage and make sure that, that has been rinsed away. So look forward to that. Apple, by the way, getting into the bidet market, I think, within the next couple of years. You heard it here first.
It's a growth industry.
What, the hemorrhoid industry?
Bidet, yeah.
All right. Yes. Bidet. So yeah, get yourself a professional detector. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm reading this correctly. Professional detector. Keep everyone's privacy is protected. Yes.
This is obviously developed in Taiwan, and they refuse to have anybody other than a Taiwanese do
The
translation.
proofreading. Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder what else there is in here.
I once offered Gigabyte, do you guys want me to proofread your press releases? And this is back in like 2006. They're like, no, thank you. It's like, holy shit.
Wait a minute. This protects against couples dating. That could be, bathroom bath is one of the applications of this.
Bathroom
Cloakroom.
bath.
Who doesn't have a cloakroom in their home in 2025? All right. On that note, I want to thank everyone for sticking with us. So we started a little bit late today, and the show didn't run very long because we're missing a significant percentage of our usual podcasting crew. I'm no mathematician, but when 2 of the 5 are gone, that's nearly 40% of the crew.
It is. And not only that, but we tend not to talk over each other nearly as much. And that's, it's not saying anything about Bront and what's his bucket?
I think it does.
Another guy.
Let's just get it out on the open. I think that we're just better mannered. We wait for each other. We're more patient.
We have better hygiene.
Yeah, I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
Better backgrounds in our video feed. I mean, 67% of our crew tonight has a
Have purple
Sony
colors in the background.
camera with a purplish background.
Yeah.
So,
The Borg.
But there
You
were
are
fewer
the
kittens.
Borg.
You're right, David. Fewer kittens this week, which is sad. I used that adorable kitten moment where it was chewing on Jeremy's
His neck.
throat last week. That was our thumbnail.
Yeah.
That was in the pre-show. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And hopefully more of us will be podcasting next week to bring you all the latest in the world of PC hardware and software. If the
there's
world
But on
decides
the
to
bright
cooperate.
side, Insecurity Corner was nowhere near as depressing as it usually is.
I would call it was almost uplifting.
You're welcome.
It was. I would call it Security Corner.
You know, what a day for Kelt to miss.
I know. I looked over and it was sad to see that his name was not among those present in our YouTube chat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And good night.
Good night.
Good night.